All right. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, the world. I want to welcome my guests to Clevenard Open Project, where we discuss Africa on behalf of Africans and we raise awareness in our communities. Yes, our topic today will be disability in our community. So I welcome you guests to this platform. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
Yes,
So,
we can hear you.
okay, great. So I'm going to take it one after the other. Let's have Mr. Okun introduce himself. Mr.
Hello.
Okun, can you introduce yourself, sir?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Hello.
Please go ahead, sir. Kindly introduce yourself, sir. All right. Since you're having issues with Mr. Okun, Mr. Okun,
Struggling to hear. I'm just trying to see how to make it. I'm struggling to hear you.
okay, can we have Toby? Toby, kindly introduce yourself, please.
Hello.
All right.
Your
Good
camera.
afternoon,
All right.
everyone.
Good afternoon.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can hear you.
All right, good. So my name is Tobiloba Ajayi, and I am the Chief Responsibility Officer at the Let Cerebral Palsy Kids Then Foundation, an organization that promotes inclusive education for children with cerebral palsy in Nigeria.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let's also have Ambassador Roy. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Ambassador Dr. Oamien Roy Ohigebe. I am a military veteran. I'm the National Secretary, Retired Members of Nigerian Armed Forces. I am also the Chairman, Christian Ventures Group, and the Group CEO for August Eye Security Services.
All right, great. Thank you, sir. You are welcome to our platform. Do we have Mr. Okun? Are you there now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, great. Please.
I'm struggling to hear, but I can manage myself to
Okay,
do
that's
that.
great. Please kindly introduce yourself, sir.
Hello.
Yes, please introduce yourself, sir.
Okay. My name is Edet Tuyebong, the CEO of Dusko Designers Limited, and also into craft. We are into craft making and also consultancy. And I manage an organization with persons with disability, also based here in Nigeria, Lagos. That's a little bit I can introduce about myself for now.
All right, that's great. That's interesting. I also want to let you know that we are on live on Facebook and we're also live on YouTube. So presently, everyone is watching us around the world. So please, Toby, can you put on your camera, please?
Come again?
No, not you, sir. Toby, can you put on your camera? All right. Ambassador Roy, please, can you just tell me your location where you are presently?
Oh, I'm in Dallas, Texas now.
All right, great. So that our audience can know where you guys are speaking from. Also, Toby, can you tell us your location right now? I think check your mic. Check your mic. I think you mute it. Okay. Mr. Okon, please can you tell us your location now? I think we lost Toby there. All right, she's back online, but your camera is not on. All right. So Toby, your location, please. We couldn't hear you the other time.
Lagos, Nigeria.
All right, Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, Mr. Okon. Mr. Cohn. Okay, let us go straight into the topic of today. The topic says disability in our communities. So now, when we talk about disabilities, what are we really talking about? Can Toby enlighten us on this?
So a disability is pretty much that's a very wide spectrum. So it's
Mm.
anything that impairs a person's ability to function. So it could be disabilities could be physical, they could be emotional, they could be mental, they could be intellectual, they could be psychological. So take your pick. It's a very wide spectrum and a very wide umbrella.
All right. Ambassador, please, can we have your thought on that too?
Okay, let me first say this that there is a sequence you are not following. That's why your network is quarreling with you. It is supposed to be ladies first. So you are
Oh,
supposed to ask Madam first. Anything you are
oh,
doing, Madam first, ladies
all
first.
right.
You
Thank
are
you for that
just
correction.
jumping her and jumping. The network will not approve you because there will be
That's
disability
true.
in the network, and we will
Oh,
not be able
wow.
to help that situation.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay,
All
I
right.
will key into it and correct
So,
it now.
Madam, thank you very much for your presence. We appreciate you.
You're
Yes.
welcome,
Yeah, thank you.
sir.
Okay, so as Madam have said it, because disability is in two ways actually, is in your mental incapability and your physical incapability. But
Mm,
mostly, generally, worldwide, the physical incapability is what most governments quickly take as disability.
mm,
And then when they see someone with some mental disability, like you can't hear very well,
mm,
or you don't have opportunity to interact properly, you have interaction challenge,
mm,
they don't assume quickly that you are disabled. They want to see someone limping, struggling to walk,
physically.
and they say, "Ah,
Mm.
yes." So that is what we can take. Yeah, thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Kong, can we have your thought on that too?
Yeah, in my own way, disability is when one has one form of deformity or the other, and some could be in the brain and all that. But I want to say that disability, whether you have it in the form of physical deformity or not, disability in summary is a thing of the mind. Even when you have that physical disability, if you still believe that you are not disabled, I mean, that is just what it is. So it's a thing of the mind.
All right, it is a thing of the mind. You can be physically fit, but disabled in your mind. Is that what you are saying? I say
Come
you
again?
can be physically fit. Your physical body is complete, but in your mind, you might be having some disabilities, right? All right, let us move on.
I didn't get that correct.
Yes, maybe I think your
Hello?
device, you are not hearing us well. Uh, yes. So
Yes.
what I said is that you might be physically fit, and in your mind, you are disabled. That's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say. All right.
You might be
Yes.
physically fit and your mind is
Exactly, that's what
disabled.
I said. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. That's interesting. I know that all of you have one thing to do. You have your possibly your NGO or things that you have been doing. I know Toby for very well. Toby has been an aspiration to so many physically challenged people. She has been encouraging a lot of people. I know her very well. And I want to ask Toby, what inspired you to pursue this current field of experts that you are doing right now, the expertise that you are doing right now?
All right. So, just for the sake of the
Yes.
record, I do have cerebral palsy
Mhm.
myself. So, I was born with a neurodevelopmental disability that affects my ability to move. However, despite the fact that I was born with a neurodevelopmental disability, my parents chose to raise the child in front of them and not the impairment. So I ended up graduating with a degree in law, earning a master's degree in international law. Um, Currently author of about 8 books, and I run my own profit. Now, the reason that I started to do what I do now was that I realized in 2016 during my Mandela Washington Fellowship that children like me were being excluded from the school system. And it was scary because here I was about 30 years old. I had a master's degree. I was a published author of 3 books. Obviously, I couldn't have done all that without an
Exactly.
education. So for me to now hear that, oh, the next generation of children coming after me that were like me, schools were literally turning them back at the door. So parents would go to a school and want to enroll their child, like every parent enrolls their child in school. I mean, if you're a parent here, you've probably taken your child to school and enrolled them at some point. And parents would take their children to school and try to enroll them, and the schools would just point blank tell them, oh, we don't take children like this here. And it was incredibly scary to me because cerebral palsy is the most common lifelong disability in the world. As at today, it affects over 17 million people worldwide. In Nigeria, 1 in every 90 children that is born in a Nigerian hospital is diagnosed with this condition. It is common. Over 40,000 kids are diagnosed yearly. So if the school system is refusing to educate these children, like, what's the plan? Like, what's our plan? Because, I mean, let's do the math here. If we're diagnosing 40,000 children every year, let's even use that small number, because you and I know, Daniel, that most children are not even born in hospitals. So it's not like we're even counting correctly. So let's even stick with the one that we can count, the one that is showing up in hospital. 40,000 every year. In 10 years, that's almost 500,000 people. If we refuse to educate 500,000 people, what exactly is our plan?
That's true.
That's how I got into this space, saying, look, we need to somehow change this narrative, because we're going to be sitting on the keg of gunpowder if we don't fix it. And so that's how I got into this field, where I'm focusing on promoting inclusive education and identifying what the issues are. Why are there so much barriers to education for children like me all of a sudden? Because I went to school, nobody said don't come. How did that change between when I went and now? What barriers suddenly crept up into the space that have created these problems? And how do we remove these barriers so that we can make education available and accessible to all children, irrespective of their disabilities or the fact that they're typical? And that's pretty much how I got into what I'm doing now and the space that I am.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Toby Lover. Yes, Ambassador, you heard what Toby just said now. We have a challenge. You are in the States, and in Africa, it's a challenge where you see people and they can't access education. What's your thought on this?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. And
Yes.
my coming to America is in and out, so I'm more or less in Nigeria too. Now, let me say something concerning what she has said. You see, most people with disability is not even who is even talking about school when they have not even gotten the opportunity to live like a human being. Most of the people with disability, their parents may not even have the wherewithal to even put them with self-esteem for them to live like normal human being. There are certain things the parents need to do. There are certain apparatus that they will need, and there are certain leverage they should have on government facilities. They should have some medical discounts. They should have some discounts and sponsorship by NGOs. But what do you find in Nigeria? People spend more money sponsoring fake security intervention than they care for the living, And need to know is that the people with disability that intend to go to school, what discount does the what is the participation of government in that education that they want to achieve? I know a lot. I support a lot of them, but how many citizens want to the NGOs that even come out that they want to support disability? Who ensures that the money funded to that NGO gets to the benefit of the persons with disability? So a lot needs to be done to monitor all of this process to give that benefit to the disabled person, especially on the needs of that person, not on your own. So this auntie here now said she read law. Supposing I said she must be a medical doctor and she wants to be a lawyer by her academic brimming, by everything, and she's failing the exam to pass chemistry and mathematics, I will say, she's not serious. I'll just leave her there. But what does she want? We need to ask disabled persons where their strength is also and help them build on their strength. If we can do that, we'll be giving them direction where they have positive energy. And if we leverage on their positive energy, you will see a lot will just come out from all of them. And when we talk about disabled persons too, I have a lot in the military. People we fought wars together. So many of them have been amputated, their limbs amputated, their mental state deranged. And what will you say about government? Government has thrown them out of the military and they are abandoned. Most of them could not even get prostheses for their limbs or for any support at all concerning their condition. So I think we need to look at it properly and look at how to use people like this madam here to be a front runner and interface with government. Does government have an office where people like her joins to have meetings with the National Assembly? Do we vote people with disability to hold office in National Assembly? So if we do that, then we'll be able to tinker the laws and place our policy renovations properly to capture all of these vulnerabilities. Thank you.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Daniel, I think I just want to respond. I don't know how much of what happens in Nigeria, you're especially in Nigerian disability space you're aware of, but I'll just quickly point out, number one, Nigeria does have a Disability Act. It was passed into law in 2019. So policy is not Nigeria's problem. Lagos State has had Lagos State Special Persons Law since 2011. So policy is not Nigeria's problem. Now, is the implementation of policy being done correctly? If you're Nigerian, if you have been a Nigerian for any number of years, you already know that Nigeria does not implement anything. We write very beautiful laws. We struggle with implementation of policy, whether it's disability, whether it's health, whether it's anything. So, irrespective of whether it's a disability issue or not, the issue is that Nigeria generally struggles with policy implementation as a country. And you see this thing about everybody waiting for government. I personally am past it, because if we're waiting for government, we're not going to get anything done. The truth is that people with disabilities are not a homogeneous group. There are people who are born with the disabilities that they have, and there are people who acquire them, just like you talked about some of your colleagues that you were in the military with, who have acquired disabilities as a result of their experiences in the military. Some have become amputated and stuff. Those are acquired disabilities. Now, the reality of those with acquired disabilities and the realities of those with congenital disabilities are completely different. Their needs are also different. And so it's important that we first of all stop speaking about people with disabilities like they are an homogeneous group, because they are not. The needs of a visually impaired person are completely different from the needs of a hearing impaired person. They're completely different from the needs of someone with polio. It's completely different from somebody who needs a prosthesis or completely different, even from somebody who has a neurodevelopmental issue or, significant difficulties with functioning. And so, like you said, it's important that we identify people's unique needs and meet them where they are. But we can't keep waiting for government to make that happen. All of us have been screaming government, government, government. Really, how much difference has government made? Take away disability, even other issues that we've all been shouting about. How much difference has government made? States have now learned that if they want security in their states, regions have started learning that they have to actually invest in security and not wait for the federal government to secure their territories. That's why you would see in the Southwest, you see the Amotekun, for instance, because they realize, look, if we keep waiting for federal government to secure our territory, we are going to wait a long time. And so it's important for us, if we really want to make difference happen, as individuals, we need to step up and stop asking what is government doing and ask ourselves, what can I do in my sphere of influence to make a change happen? So if it's one person that I can help, that's it. Let's help that one person and create those ripple effects today, instead of sitting down and asking what is government doing. Sitting and asking what is government doing is not going to make a difference. Some of us actually started our work in policy, and we moved from policy to direct interface because we realized that waiting for government, it will be waiting for a long time. And the truth is, nobody's getting any younger. That would be my spiel.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you
thank
very
you very
much. So I
much.
really understand
Thanks.
where you are coming from now. So we must begin to tailor our expectations towards individual and private participation. If there are
Exactly.
opportunities for people to pull in the weight of international NGOs and even some Nigerians,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
even all of these that are Nigerians like Hotel Dollar and all these people, when they want to do their
Mm-hmm.
birthdays and all that, what do they take as a chunk to say, okay, I'm going to feature in
Exactly.
this project or this program for people with
Mm-hmm.
disability?
Mm-hmm.
Then
If it's, oh, okay, I'm going to support 10 people. That's 10 people, empowered. That creates a ripple effect.
yes. Then also,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
was also looking, when you were talking, it also dawned on me that certain organizations can set aside money to be a regular support,
Yeah.
like Coca-Cola, Guinness. It can be in their corporate social
Yes.
responsibility, CSRO,
Oh, very
to
true.
Exactly.
say, okay, for
CSR.
my
You are right, sir.
CSRO, for my company, I'm
Mm.
going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like my
Yeah.
companies in Nigeria, my CSRO is to support orphans. And then we have some of them in
Mm.
Right.
school that we are sponsoring. Okay. So if we follow your line of thought too, we'll see that the laws and the policies and everything are there. So but now I want to close my own comment with the fact that Nigeria is disabled too. Nigeria is a disabled agency because it cannot communicate properly. Nigeria cannot think properly, and it cannot move properly. It needs a prosthesis for its legs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's great. That's interesting. Okay, Mr. Let's have your thoughts too. Let's have your thoughts because let's have your thought on this. What do you think individual participation in, you know, empowering and not waiting for government? Are you with us, Mr. Okun?
Yes, I'm very much here.
Okay, sir. So you heard what they've said so far. So before we move to the next stage.
Um, I want to first of all thank Toby and also an ambassador Roy for their meaningful contribution because honestly speaking, there is no way government can do everything. It's literally not possible. And anywhere I am or I go to, what I tell people is that, of course, even how I am well dressed, you see people who still believes that giving me 10 naira is what they think I deserve. And I will politely thank them and say, I appreciate this and leave. But in most programs I attend, what I tell people is that there are better ways you can help persons with disability. One, just like she mentioned, in every community or environment, there must be one or two persons living with one form of disability or another. And it's important, maybe in your neighborhood, or anywhere, if you see persons with disability, and then, for instance, I know I'm well-to-do, or I can afford 15 naira, I can look for 5, 10 people. We can put that 15 naira together and see a particular person we can help. There are people that even the only one sewing machine transformed their entire life. That means you have bought a car for them, you built a house for them, and you have also married a wife for them in just that single act. That means we should take away our eyes from the government, because especially the Nigerian government, I know we'll get there, but how soon is what I may not really say. We can see how we can put ourselves together and see what we can do for people with disability, because nobody ordinarily want to choose being a disabled. It's something that comes on its own, and when it comes, of course, you don't have any option than accepting what you have on ground. As such, I think it would be very important. Most of the NGOs we have, most of the even churches also, let them put up a program that will be affecting persons with disability positively, and you find out that even in amongst us, there are a whole lot of things that persons with disability have that unless you get closer to them, you will never know that they are so endowed with such thing within them. So we should remove our attention from the government and see what individually can do for persons with disability. That doesn't mean that government shouldn't be there for PWDs, because the responsibility of government is to ensure that the citizens, all the citizens, are fine. And of course, the people with disability cannot be thrown away from environment like that. In 2019, the disability bill were passed into law, which I think 4 or 5 years duration were given, that any public buildings that are not in compliance with disability law must be shut down. And as I tell you today, a lot of some of those facility infrastructures that are out here, even in Lagos where we are, they are not disability friendly. Just some couple of months ago, I was trying to make use of one of the, because what I do in some instances or in some occasions, if where I am going is like might be very close, I'll be looking at my street across the other way. But because of the railway that is there, I will have to pay to another place. In fact, I'll have to take 3 transports before I finally get down to my place. But that fateful day, I was really, really tired. I said, no, instead of going through those houses again, let me just manage and cross the railway. And along the line, I had this hand a bit dislocated, which has been there. That means if the government has made available that infrastructure that are friendly for persons with disability, that thing that happened to me wouldn't have been there. So it is very important that individuals should join us to make sure we such laws are enforced. I think the period we are now is the period of enforcing those laws. So it is not something I alone can do. And that is one of the things that the association, which I am heading, will be focusing on, making sure that some of those policies of government are implemented. And apart from that, we see how we can talk to organizations, talk to individuals that are well-to-do, how they can put their resources together and help these people. Because if we really look at life itself, generally, it's not easy, let alone persons with disability. Even in the civilized country, like in a developing country like ours, a whole lot of things we need to do. That is, if only the government and individual are ready to key into some of those things that will help persons with disability. So there are a whole lot of things that we need to do. Thank you.
There's a lot of things. Yes, thank you so much, sir. Mr. Okon, there is a role for the government, and also there is a role for individual to play their own part in the community for the disability.
Yes. Sorry, can I just,
time has really gone far.
Can I just put in this? Even persons with disability ourselves, we still need to work on ourselves. So it's not just it's not just the government, and because we should be able to know that you can be useful to yourself. It is when you know you can be useful to yourself, somebody can now be of help. So we people with disabilities should also work on ourselves to see that, we make ourselves available. So when that opportunity comes, we can always tap from it. Thank you, sir.
That's true. That's true. Thank you very much. Okay, we've spent so much time, but quickly, I am going to ask this now. What project do you have right now? Let me start with Toby. What project are you currently on right now?
So when you say project, I'm a little confused. I actually
Oh,
run an organization that has
yes,
multiple projects running all
exactly.
year.
Just share with us. Yes.
So I'm a bit confused as to what do you mean what project?
Okay,
So
what are you putting your hands on now?
again, still a very vague question. What
Oh,
I will do for you is to just
okay.
kind of give you an idea of how my organization does what it does,
All right.
and that might help.
All
We
right.
just completed our first teacher training of the year. That's one of the things that we do, because in
Great.
identifying, like I said, we needed to identify what the gaps were that were keeping children out of education. Why are schools refusing to admit kids? And the first thing that we realized was that, number one, of course, stigma and discrimination was a big deal. And that was because there was a lack of information. So we do run a free annual symposium where we basically answer the questions that people have about inclusive education for children with cerebral palsy. And basically, in March, when it's Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, we spend the whole month basically sharing facts and demystifying the condition, so that people, all of the stigma that and all of the lies that people believe, can actually be corrected. And then of course we realized also our teacher training curriculum is terrible. We don't Teachers are not trained to teach children that do not show up typically. Even your so-called
Yeah.
special needs teachers do not know what to do with children with neurodevelopmental issues. And so it was important that we developed a training curriculum that helps teachers fill that knowledge gap. In filling that knowledge gap is also supporting families, because if you want children to be able to go to school and learn, then their parents and their family members have to be equipped with the knowledge and the skills that they need to support them to do these things. And so it was important that we started to also provide education to parents and empowerment to mothers, because we found out in the course of our work that 70 to 80% of the families that come to us are single mother families, because the men just get up and they leave, because culturally men will see things like, oh, they don't give birth to children like this in my family, and then they just leave the kids to the mothers, and then the mothers have to become sole breadwinners. And so it was important for us as an organization to begin to support our mothers with business development skills, so that they can grow the businesses that they start, and be able to provide for their children. We also, of course, provide, life skill trainings for our young people with cerebral palsy themselves, as they go from childhood into adolescence, and of course into adulthood. So that's kind of a spill of some of the things that we do. Yeah, I hope that that helps and that answers the
Yeah,
question.
sure. Of course, that helps a lot. That's interesting. Yes, Ambassador, can you also give us a brief of anything that you are currently doing or you want to do or you have done in the past?
Okay, for persons with disability. Now, there is a young lady in Ibadan. She she has this hope alive or something like that for people with disability, and we have done some things together. I think I will share her contact with you so that in the subsequent this thing they will need to come out and show up. Then there are certain people I know that I don't like working with. There are some groups of people. I'm just hearing about this madam now, which I will be very happy you can exchange our details together. I am skeptical working with some orphanages and all these NGOs, because the benefit does not get to the beneficiaries, and it put me in a very guilty position. I feel guilty because
True.
even as a Christian, we are taught that if you sow a seed for a purpose, make sure that purpose, that seed works for it. Don't let the church staff or somebody divert the money and you just feel that, oh, it don't
True.
concern me. If you buy a bus for a church in my religion, make sure the bus is usually always in working condition. If you need to carry it, go and renovate and bring it back. It's your business. So when you support an NGO and you give them 2 million naira, and the money does not get to the purpose of which they wrote a petition to you for support, and you don't care to go there to commission that purpose, then it becomes something that you need to feel guilty about it. But when we meet
True.
people like this, our sister here that have the outlet and the opportunity to monitor deliverables, I like that kind of communication. So for me, I do individually. I was trying to check for one lady. There's a young lady on my DM now. I'm going to get her a job this week. She went to do her
Great.
NYC, and during her NYC, she got these issues with her legs, and she was amputated. And they went to fix this prosthesis and this thing. And she started jumping about again, and she needs a job now. So I'm looking for her contact. So this week I'm talking to some people. She will go for interview somewhere and she will get a job. So we need to know
That's
how to
interesting.
do individual and corporate, so that we can be able to put
Yes.
our support to these people where it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's interesting. Yes, Mr. Cohn, is there anything your association or organization is doing currently or you have done in the past?
Thank you very much. Yes,
Just
there are a
in
whole
one
lot
minute,
we have.
because they are giving me
We are
signal now. Yes, in one
a
minute.
whole lot to do. Currently, as I speak to you, we have some slots for persons for the PWD who are interested in learning skill, which has always been my regular thing I do.
Can you call out?
We do.
Sorry, sir. Can you call
again?
out the name? Can you call out the name of your organization so that people can hear?
You said?
Can you call out the name of your organization so that people hear?
Association for a Better Life, PWD, Nigeria.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. But those programs I've been doing were basically under my company before now. So for the fact that I'm a person with disability, so I always wanted to use whatever platform I have to ensure that something for the PWD. So like I was saying, we have done that. And also we are working on a training program for PWD and also an exhibition for those who are already in business. What that means is that we are creating a platform where the PWD who are already in business, who are not known, will be brought to a particular platform to showcase what they are really into, which of course the regulatory body of the national body in Nigeria here has endorsed it for us, has given us the approval. And the host state where we are going to do it has also endorsed their participation in that project. So that is one of the things that is going to be very massive, and not just a few people. We are looking at just 300 persons with disability that are going to be trained in different skills, and then like 300 people that are already in business. We bring them into a particular platform where career counseling. There will be career counselors on ground. Free medical attention will be given to those that need Medicare, because one of the big problems we have, or big issue we have here in Nigeria, is accessing healthcare. That's medical care is one of the big problems. Even for everybody, let alone if I go to the hospital to take care of myself, I know how much I spend on my own. And just like Ambassador Roy said, these are some of the things that are supposed to be benefit for PWD here in Nigeria. So there are a whole lot we are doing. And as I speak to you now, I still move around to see anywhere I can fit in and train people with disability. Currently, we are having a training for people with disability in Lagos State, which I am offering the training to them. We just did the first week, and we still have more weeks to do that. So there are a whole lot of things that we are doing to ensure that this PWD, where I belong, are well catered for. So that is it.
All right. Thank you so much. We are going to round up the program right now. But before I round up, can you just give an advice, to people out there, especially people with disability? So, Toby, what advice are you going to give to them?
This is the thing that I always say. If you're a parent of a child with a disability, please raise the child in front of you and not the disability. If you're a person with a disability, please focus on what your disability does not prevent you from doing, instead of focusing on all the things that it stops you from doing.
Wow, that's interesting. Ambassador Roy, yes.
In fact, you can see me shaking my head. You know, everything is just in that her sentence. So all of us now will need to do copy and paste. Please don't go and don't put any personal right. We must copy from that your thing, you know, because that is the simple truth. Everybody must focus on their strength. Hey, I can't do this. I can't do this. What can you do? You know, if people meet you at the point of your need, and your need has positive energy from you, not from people, whether they ignore you or not, somebody will discover you, you know. And once you are discovered, don't be a lone wolf. Pull up others. People with disability must be able to bring other people of disability into their space. So if you are discovered to have a particular strength and it is being sponsored, tell them, hold on, I have people to work with me to bring up other people with the same disability and the same positive energy on a particular thing, because result is key. Thank you.
That's true. Yes, Mr. Okun, please, your advice.
I will always say people with disability should, just like almost all of us saying the same thing too. We should make sure we make use of where our strengths are, and don't believe that people are there to help you until you believe that you have a thing for you to do on your own. That is the beginning of you moving forward. Because if you believe that people are out there to help you, you will be very, very disappointed, because when your expectations are not met, in fact, you will feel as if people hate you. No. So you on your own have to work on yourself and see what you can be useful to, and then develop yourself in that. And of course, when that is done, in the nearest future, people will see disability as a normal thing, even when it is not normal.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I want to appreciate all my guests. Tobiloba Ajayi, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I think we had a very interesting and intelligent conversation today. For those that will be watching, of course, the link will be out there. We are going to share it for everybody. It is quite interesting. Ambassador Roy, thank you so much. I really appreciate your input today's conversation. Mr. Okon too, thank you so much for being here with us today. The topic remains in our community. And always remember, Clevenard Open Project, where we discuss Africa on behalf of African, and we raise awareness in our community. So thank you so much, and I say
You have
peace
not
out.
told Madam
Thank you.
thank you. You only told the
Of
two
course,
of
she's
us
the
thank
one.
you.
She's the first
I
person
want to.
I
I
gave
also
thank
want to
you.
thank.
Tell her
Thank
thank
you for
you.
having
I also want to add my voice, and thank Ambassador Roy for being able to make it.
Yes,
Toby for
yes,
also being able to attend this. It's quite an interesting one. And
yes,
also, I want to thank the Clevenard for creating a platform like this for people's voice to be heard. I think it's
yes,
something that is encouraged. So we thank
exactly.
everybody who has come to this program, and we believe subsequently we should be able to do one or two things together. Thank you very much from my end.
Thank you
All right,
so
thank
much.
you,
We
everyone. Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for having me.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.